Aloha there, everybody in the space today, and aloha to everybody who is watching the recording of this fifth masterclass of the series, Elevated and Happy Vegan. So, as we are getting to an end in this six masterclass and total of 3 day journey, well, if you're watching the recording, you're probably watching this maybe all at once. Maybe you're binge watching all of these masterclasses. Maybe you're taking a whole week or longer. That doesn't matter. So today's masterclass is called Ecstatic Dance. And this is a practice that I'm teaching my coaching clients and that I practice with them. And every time we do that, this is the most fun. They love it. They go wild on it. It's just an extremely freedom feeling created practice. Did I say that nicely? How did I want to say that? How could you say that better? It creates this sense of freedom, this sense of ultimate joy in expression in whatever ways and shapes we want to express ourselves. So compared to the other videos, as you can tell, I'm dressed up differently and I'm outside of my room. Usually I'm sitting in there to record, but now I'm outside of my room and it's dark. That's right. Here in Bali, it's nighttime at this moment, and I am usually using like my porch to do movement practice such as yoga or ecstatic dance, which I'll be doing today with you here as well. Now, for all of you here in the room, I just want to give you a little bit of an explanation on what ecstatic dance is, how I got introduced to this, and why I am teaching this as a part of my coaching practice. So the first time I got into ecstatic dance was when I came to Bali, and I saw this, I think I saw a flyer or a poster and it said ecstatic dance. And I was like, what the frick is that? So I went to an ecstatic dance, which was like a public event. It was during the daytime, and it was kind of weird because I was used to dancing in clubs and bars, in restaurants and places where DJs will play and people would party. It would go into the night, people would get drunk, that's what I'm used to. That's how I kind of got introduced into dancing and partying. But then there was this space of people getting together. And then there was a DJ, a facilitator at the same time, not only somebody who would mix tracks, but somebody who would also use their voice and give some voice guidance, like tell me in what ways I should move or give some instructions on what to focus on and whatnot. And dang, that was awkward. I was like, nobody's drunk. I can't dance. I really couldn't. I was not a dancer at all. Today I dance a lot. And so my body has adapted. And as you may have seen in my social media content, I am comfortable with dancing. But back then, that wasn't the case. I was just being an awkward little Junie on the dance floor with those people. And what I've realized is that an ecstatic dance practice, I also call it mindful movement often, right? But let's stick with ecstatic dance for now. And an ecstatic dance practice is a practice where you allow yourself to move in whatever shapes and forms that you want. It's an extremely freeing practice for all those limiters that we're setting in our minds. So, what comes with an ecstatic dance practice is obviously that we're bringing awareness to different parts of our body. We are bringing awareness to, of course, our breath, of course, our mind, but all the other physical parts of our body as well. And the beauty of a well guided ecstatic dance is that you are starting to explore your body in new ways. You're starting to move your body in new ways. And you're starting to move yourself into a sense of freedom by allowing yourself to just move through whatever you need to move through. And so, an ecstatic dance practice, as you're conscious and aware in this moment that you're engaging in a movement practice, emotions can come up and they can be very unfiltered. They can be very straightforward, and you can just feel them full front on, not being distracted by any alcohol in your blood or any other substances that you might have taken or do take when you go partying and dancing. So you are just there moving through and feeling things that just might come up. They might be triggered by certain music, by certain situations, by people watching you dance, guilt and shame and all of that. And the invitation of an ecstatic dance is to literally move through it, to just stick with the movement. And a movement can be both soft or active. It can be super hype energy, or it can be super mellow energy. It doesn't matter if you're bouncing around, getting super sweaty, and having a workout. I often do that. For me, an ecstatic dance is a workout times in most cases. But that doesn't have to be like that. It can also be that you're in a very soft and humble mood. Maybe you're recovering from an injury, and that doesn't mean you can't participate and you can't practice an ecstatic dance. It just means that you have to be very aware and very present with your body. And this is such a fun practice. Let me tell you, when we do this in a group container, as we're about to do together in a minute, and you watching the recording will be doing with the mixtape that I'm providing you with, we're actually going to dance to the same mixtape, right? So for everybody in the future watching the recording of this, you'll be dancing to the same mixtape we are dancing in the live call here. So there's no difference. And when we're dancing, I will also be turning the recording off just so that we can be amongst us in this room. And also because you don't need to see me dance for 50, actually 75 minutes. It's a 75-minute practice. Okay, let me tell you. There are different lengths in this practice, obviously, but similar to a full and complete yoga practice, a full and complete ecstatic dance practice takes its time. And you can only know that when you've moved through it at least once in your life. So, the invitation from me to you is to give this experience a try, to not be judgmental, to not freak out about yourself, to not think, oh my God, I can't move, I can't dance. I catch you sometimes. I can see that you're catching yourself sometimes, busting some moves in the mirror when some good radio songs are playing in the background. That's exactly where we want to go. We want to go to a place where we just are with ourselves. And the beauty of an ecstatic dance is to celebrate that together and to see each other together in this space where we are just us, like we want to move, like we want to move our body to something. And even if we don't, inside of the mixtape, you will hear my voice here and there introducing you and inviting you to certain ways of movement. So we have things that are like focus on your knees, let your knees move in new ways, warm up your feet, let your feet do some crazy things. I have sometimes things that I do like, okay, now it's time to move on all fours on your hand and feet. It's a very playful and a very open and experimental practice. But let me tell you, when you really move through that, you're gonna feel so fucking good. It really every time it makes my clients feel so freaking good. And that's what I want you to experience. And that's why this is a part of this 6 masterclass series, Elevated and Happy Vegan. Super important, right? Now, instead of giving you all the theory and background of where ecstatic dance comes from, because that's not a part of this masterclass, that is actually a part of my Become Your Medicine program. Inside of the Become Your Medicine program, I have a whole module on ecstatic dance and mindful movement with separate masterclasses, separate little video lessons on what it is, where it comes from, and you'll get more insights into that. So if you want more of this after this practice, and if you want to join in on weekly live group calls that I'm hosting for all participants of the Become Your Medicine program, you can take a look at the link that I've put down there. And it's written there. It's access to a lifelong community. You're accessing all these video lessons, all this, basically a whole universe of master classes, plus access to weekly live group calls, 4 different time zones. So we have 2 options every week where the participants of this group coaching program can tune into the live calls. We have Wednesdays and Thursdays, which are for different time zones, depending if you live in the States, in Europe, or in Asia, or anywhere on the world. You'll be able to access them during a daytime for you. Okay. So for everybody watching the recording who's not in our room today, right here, right now, I invite you to go ahead and open that link below that I've linked for you to the Ecstatic Dance, aka Mindful Movement Medicine mixtape. It's called Ecstatic Eclipse. It's a 75-minute practice. So what I invite you to do in order to prepare yourself, as I've written to you in the email, everybody who's watching here right now in this room, you got to set yourself up with some space around you. Make sure that you connect to the device, like everybody here right now. If you haven't done so yet, connect your device to a Bluetooth speaker. Got mine right here. To a Bluetooth speaker. Connect your device to that. Or Bluetooth headphones. It's important that you can move freely away from the device that you're using. If you're using a laptop or if you're using a smartphone, doesn't matter. Just make sure you can move away and move around. Also, if you're feeling uncomfortable being seen, make sure that you're in your own room, in your own space, maybe in your living room. And yeah, you can close the curtains, No, that's okay. If you're feeling that shame, that's okay. If it helps you to really express yourself in movement and to allow yourself to dive into the music that we're listening to. By the way, every mixtape that I provide you with, like the one today, is constructed. So there's a certain rhythm, there's a certain background, there's a certain framework that I use to construct these ecstatic dance things. If you want to learn more about all of that, as I said, that's inside of the Become Your Medicine group coaching program. Now, everybody connected your device to speaker. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Good, good, good. Okay. And then we're going to get started. I'm going to stop the recording for this. So we are going to immerse ourselves in this ecstatic dance together. I'm really excited for it. As you can see, I'm wearing my little dance poncho and my little yoga leggings here to be able to move. Exactly. That's what I also need you to do. Wear something that allows you to move well. Oh, we have a loud bike coming. Yes, that's right. Here in Bali, we have some people that love to drive around on loud bikes. Anyway, so I'm going to stop the recording. Everybody in the future watching this video, enjoy the mixtape and let me know in the comments down below how that was for you, how that felt for you, and really commit to moving through those 75 minutes. Believe me, if you're not moving through the whole thing, you're not going to receive the whole benefits of this practice. It really works like that. You got to commit, you got to dedicate. It's something you do for yourself. And then in the next level, for everybody you engage with, which also includes animals, obviously. So you're doing this for a better world. Commit to the practice and have fun with it. And I'll see you in tomorrow's masterclass. In the next masterclass for everybody who's watching the recording of this, which will be the last masterclass of this series, focusing on self-love commitments. And for us in this room right now, let's get started.